Today we're talking about ChatGPT. We're having a chat about chat. Lucas, has ChatGPT killed recruiting?
Yeah, we look pretty dead, don't we? Yeah. Of course it hasn't. It's a tool like all the other tools as well. There has been a lot of fuss around it, of course. Many look at it as the complete game changer, which maybe like in the background it will be and become. AI, of course, is a big topic in every industry. But now, I mean, today we're talking about the recruiter everyday business, what we are doing every day. And ChatGPT has not at all killed us. It has probably enhanced some stuff that we're doing. It's been useful, but in the end, it all comes down to good basics. So I'm very relaxed about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, those who know me know I'm all about hyper personalization and close relationships. And I think, in my business, in a small boutique, it's what it's all about. And I think that ChatGPT is a great tool. And I think the future and where it will go will only get better and bigger and, enable us even more. But let's be honest, there always needs to be that human element when it comes to recruiting. We're dealing with people. And do people want to deal with a robot or another human being who listens, learns, understands, feels, can support them? And I think that's why it's not going to kill us. It maybe takes some tasks away from us. One of the things I was asked, let's say, around the misunderstandings and maybe a common myth about kind of ChatGPT and recruitment. You just mentioned one before about, okay, it's not going to fully replace human recruiters. One of the other things is to be careful about as well using ChatGPT is that it's not completely unbiased. It learns from information out there, and some of that information out there is biased and has come from certain points. So I think it's really important to not misunderstand the use of chat and say that there has to be that human element. It has to be you driving things. Use it as a tool to help, to improve. One misunderstanding would also be that it's not just big companies. Yes, big companies will be able to use a lot of things like chatbots and different stuff in the future. But I think don't underestimate as a small company or individual user how impactful it can be using ChatGPT.
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is definitely also a hype. And many people are afraid. So they hear about it and they kind of have that fear of losing out on something. So that FOMO, right? So they're like, oh no, I'm on the job market now. I have never used ChatGPT in my life. I think the other candidates, they will use it. Am I now in a big disadvantage? And they kind of start to hyper. And they are afraid. And this is absolutely not the case. I think the basics are still what it's all about. ChatGPT is always, only as good as your basics are. So don't be afraid. Stick to your strengths, stick to your skills, and then maybe dive slowly and gently into the world of ChatGPT. Start using it for very simple cases, just one step at a time. But don't be afraid. Don't let the hype get to you, and don't let it make you nervous.
So let's go straight into an example that I would like to bring up. I was asked about a good example of using ChatGPT for creating job adverts, with the topic about a good example of using ChatGPT for creating job adverts. So here's a bit of a rabbit hole that I went down. There's a company, WinGD. I just took them as an example. They're within the shipping industry. And I think they, my understanding is it's quite challenging to find some of the engineers and profiles and people that they would look for. I took the prompt. So with ChatGPT, you always need to say to it, hey, okay, this is how I want you to act. This is what I want you to be. And in this example, I've said, hey, I want you to be an expert in HR and employer branding. So I'm already saying that's how I want you to act. And I said, I want you to rewrite this job description. Okay. I said, I want them to tailor it towards a new generation of engineers, make it engaging, unique, and add some humor. For me, humor is always a little bit in there somewhere. I think it gets a good reaction from people. So you can see here, I've given them the typical, as we call in Switzerland, you know, 0815, the standard job description that they have, to see what would chat do with that. Here we go.
Emojis.
Emojis, love them or hate them. I love them. I think if we're talking about focusing towards the new generation, I think it's something that is quite common and used in their day-to-day. Okay, so immediately you can see during the ship revolution, we're not just engineering engines, we're engineering the future. So really catchy. You've got your rockets in there. Look at the text. Yo, ship enthusiast, text savants. It's going in a real direction tailored towards the new generation. And chat did that in a second. Okay, now I'm not saying that you then take that one-to-one and just post it. Of course, you always need to check it at the human part. Make sure it represents the company, the culture, what you want. But this is a great example of how you can take a job description and make it different or make it better if you believe, like I do, that this is better. Why sell with us? Taking these unique, catchy things that are going to differentiate the job description versus perhaps other companies. So, you know, if you, again, a great finish as well, if you want to build the future and can handle some boat rocking innovation, drop us your details. Let's sail beyond the horizon together. I think is a really powerful job description off a very basic prompt.
You can even go more specific with your prompt. Like I see there, make Captain Planet proud. And I mean, I know Captain Planet. It was a TV series like back in the 90s, I would say. So it probably appeals to people. It's speaking to people that were born in the 80s. So if you are like, write a job description for the new generation, I mean, it depends what exactly you're looking for. Maybe you can even specify more. So you can maybe even go for a range in age. Maybe write a job description for people aged 25 to 30. Yeah, it would be interesting. Maybe then some Yu-Gi-Oh references would show up or something like this, you know. Yeah, it's definitely a good way to experiment. But I think one can be even more specific with the prompt.
Absolutely, absolutely. I took a really generic, you know, focus towards generation, the new generation. So of course you can make it specific. You can adjust it thereafter. What I then went and did is I said, okay, now give me this in German. So now if I'm looking for German speakers, I've now created instantly the German version of my advert. So you could even take the point of, if you're not a native speaker, something like that, you've created an English job description. Now, all of a sudden, I have it in German. Again, attention, you need to check it. You need to have it to look at it. Like what you said about Captain Planet, there's going to be some differences and some things that you need to change. But you've got an immediate translation from the meaning, which looks great and is going to have saved you lots and lots of time. You can now go a step further. I said, okay, what's the next step maybe that I can do from here? So then I said, okay, now act as an expert headhunter and create a Boolean search string for this profile. Okay, so, and here is what it came up with. So I can copy the code here. It's come up with a Boolean search string, which I can put in to try to find candidates matching this. Now, what I would say is, and I'm sure you'll probably agree having a quick glance at that, is that it's maybe too restrictive in the search. So I wouldn't take that one-to-one, but what I would do is say, hey, that gives me some great inspiration of what my Boolean search string could look like. And then tailor it. For sure, there's going to be some words in there, some different things that I don't agree with, or maybe that I didn't think about when I'm creating my own string. And this is what I think chat is great for, giving you ideas, not the final solution. You always need to work on that. You always need to bring your expertise and skills in, but it's already given a great code of what you can do in regards to the search itself. Also goes on a bit and explains what it's put into the search and what have you. But again, going from a point of view of here's a job description, make it better, give me a German version, give me the search string. You can really use and leverage ChatGPT in a great way to create awesome and unique job descriptions.
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT mostly serves us recruiters, and I think not only us recruiters in general, people who are working with it as a brainstorming partner.
Yeah.
So it's just like another person in the room when you do brainstorming, and when you're just by yourself, then yeah, it's just you and ChatGPT basically. I would just look at it as another person generating ideas. And it's not given that ChatGPT is always right and always knows what is better. This is absolutely not the case. You know better because you are the expert. You are the person dealing with the case. You know the people, you know the candidates, you know your clients, the companies, you know their culture, you know the way that they communicate, and so on and so on. And ChatGPT doesn't know that. It's very generic, right? So of course you can feed it with information. You can describe the company culture. You can describe the candidate. You can even feed it with emails. You can feed it with all sorts of information to make it more and more like precisely going the way that you want it to go, right? But in the end, it's you. You decide. You are the pilot. You are in the cockpit. You decide what's being filtered out. You decide what's going through. And in the end, it's your style. And ChatGPT will never, maybe not never, but at least not now, fully understand your style. So it's always important to take it as an input giver, as an input creator, as a brainstorm sparring partner. But then in the end, it's always your task to make the output your own.
Using ChatGPT when writing standout questions to candidates. Okay. Another example of how I've used it in for this case. So
Nice.
let me bring again the description or the rabbit hole I started going down. So we can see here. I wanted to create a message or to show you how you can create great messages for candidates, or how you can use it again as a sparring partner. So the first thing I asked Chat was, who's actually best positioned to create these kind of messages? Okay,
Lee,
yeah.
Is there a possibility to zoom in a little bit?
Let me see. Actually, I don't think so. Is it a bit small then, or?
Yeah, it just came up in the comments. Yeah.
Okay. What I can try to do is take. We can be here, but. I believe we probably need to be in to create the audio. Yeah, I think that's probably it. So apologies, so you probably didn't hear. Again, I said it's the first time I'm sharing my screen, so I'm sorry if if you didn't see that, so or hear that. So let me just go back. You should be able to hear us now. Please tell me if you can. And we also have about a 20-second delay from us talking to when people hear it, Lucas. So maybe we need to wait a quick moment. Now
maybe
the
you
audio.
can share this. Maybe you can share this later, so that
yeah, of
people
course,
that
I can
want to have a look at
absolutely
it.
share it. Hold on. Control, scroll up, and zoom. So control. Oh, there we go.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much, Stanislav, you legend. Thank you. All right, here we go. So we're back. So the first question, so just to quickly cover it, because I don't know what exactly was missed. So I wanted to, first of all, use ChatGPT to tell me who is best positioned to create an awesome message to a candidate. Okay, you can use this for anything. Before telling ChatGPT how you want it to act, ask it to tell you who's the best person to act as, right? So who is best positioned to write the best messages to a potential candidate that would stand out from the rest? And without a doubt, the candidate will reply. Okay, so it tells me recruiters and hiring managers, some other things that I'm not particularly interested in, honestly, or that I don't think is the right answer. And then bam, here, professional writers and marketeers. So then I said, fantastic. Act as a professional writer, creating a unique and engaging message to a candidate they want to hire. I told it I'm going to share the LinkedIn profile of the candidate. So I'm giving chat as much information as possible to hyper-personalize the message that I want it to send to the individual. And as always, with me, I said, hey, make it engaging and add some humor as well. You know, that's just my style. So I gave it the example of me. I shared, and so it said, of course, do it. I copy-pasted my LinkedIn profile and said, come up with an awesome message. So here's my profile. No, but you can, we don't need to focus on that, but take a look at this message. Based on the details I've shared, here is the message that it wanted to send to me. So you plus us equals a recruiting masterpiece. Okay, cool. I like it. It's creative. Some of the things that it talks about, you know, talking about my journey. Okay. It compliments me on my progression, my trajectory. You know, it's really hyper personalized. It comes in, imagine bringing your Midas touch to our team, you know, it's really cool. And it gives me so much inspiration. Of course, I'm not going to copy paste that because it's not me. It's not my wording. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that. I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to personalize it even more. I'm going to put my flair into it. And I'm convinced. When I read it, I was like, even if someone copy pasted that to me, I'm going to answer to that message. What are your thoughts, Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, I don't use it for this, to be very honest with you, because to me, in my eyes, the output is always way too big. So the messages are too long. That's just my experience. My personal style, when I reach out to someone on LinkedIn, I'm super, super short. I use like 2 sentences, something like this. Highly personalized. So the message is not at all exchangeable. And the person is like feeling directly, you know, spoken to. And I also, you know, the person sees that I have read their profile. And I really refer to like 1 or 2 specific things. And this is just my style. So I do not use it for, I do not use ChatGPT for that. But of course, I can go to ChatGPT and feed it with some of my past messages. And then I could go like, hey, can you create something in the style of Lucas for this and that purpose? So yeah, you can absolutely do that too. Yeah.
I mean, again, this is, you know, giving ideas and inspirations. Some of these things are going to be really, you know, really hit a mark. I think, you know, I also really want to make it extremely personalized towards the individual. And that's why I kind of copy and paste in their their details as well. So that, again, that's another example of how to use chat for creating candidate messages. Yeah.
In general, I have a little thing here that I would like to share. In general,
Sure.
I have made the experience that ChatGPT creates also for acquisition emails.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say copywriting in general, you want to reach out to somebody and you want this person to react to you, right? Can be a candidate, can be an acquisition email for a company, whatsoever, right? We all know it. And my experience with ChatGPT is that the messages are in general too long and they are too flowery. There is too many nice words in there, like all over the place. And I mean, again, you can use it as an inspiration. Maybe there is like that one sentence that you would not have, you know, like found yourself. So you're very happy to see it, etc. And then you turn it into something that's more like your style. But just coming from my experience, the advice would be to really not send out ChatGPT messages like one-to-one if you want to do acquisition stuff. It's I think it's not going to work out.
I think what I would do in your case, and anyone who says, okay, they're getting too long prompts, you can obviously tell it. I did a quick thing at the end where I said, okay, make it half the size. You know what you can do, and this gives, I've got another great example of that as well. You can take your messages, Lucas, take 5 examples of messages that you write to people, and you can say to chat, okay, these are the messages that I normally write. Give me a prompt that tells me how you can give me, how I can ask for this type of message. So, and then it's going to be able to take your tone and the way that you write and create that into messages. So let me just share with you a quick example of that. Where are we? Let's go back in. Okay, so here's another great example. And you could do this for your messages. So here I said, okay, act as a creative writer. I'm going to share 3 of my LinkedIn posts. And I want you to create a prompt that helps me get a Lee style post in the future, to make it, to start to make it more and more towards my kind of style and how I write. So I gave it 3 pieces of text of things that I've written before. Then it says, okay, here is the prompt that you can give me to write in Lee style. So if I then say, okay, I can then create a post, write my thing, say, this is my style, make my post even better than it is. And it's already good. So you could take the same thing with your messages. Of course, yours are very short to the point. But if we talk about everyone who's watching here, everyone has a different style. Some people will like to write more, less, but then you can actually get a prompt. So I can copy paste this next time into ChatGPT and say, here's my style. This is my text. Make it better. And so you can do that for your own. If I take that then down the, so let's come back in. If I then take that down the rabbit hole of, okay, I'm sending messages to candidates. Here's my style. Here's lots of messages I've sent before. Here's the LinkedIn profile of the individual. Give me my text. So it's a long way of doing it, and I'm not saying it's the best way. Or the only way, but I'm just trying to give inspiration and ideas how you can use chat on another level that you wouldn't have known that you can. Let's go to. I'm just going to the comments because there's a few things coming in. So Judith says she's got the same problem with chat, that it's often the choice of words which can be too eloquent. Any suggestion for making it more usable? Sometimes I say, write in a simple style. So Judith, my personal advice would be do exactly that exercise of what I've just done. Take a few pieces of your style of writing, say to it, give me a prompt to summarize my style of writing. And then you're going to have your prompt. So you can say, this is what I want you to write, and this is my prompt for the style in which I wish you to do it. And then hopefully that's going to come out in Judith's style, text and flavor and as close to how you would write it. And then you just need to tweak it and make it you.
Yeah, I agree. So one of my prompts would be like the Lucas prompts. I always start my messages with what I have for them. So, for example, if I write to a company, I I go like hello or dear, and then I immediately start. I have a Java developer, German speaking. He can start tomorrow. Would that be interesting for you? I don't go like, oh, I hope your holiday was nice, and I hope the birds are singing nice songs when they sing into your ears and stuff like that. It's just like, this is what ChatGPT does a lot, which I do not like. So probably this would be a prompt that I would be using. And I think if we start working in that way, feeding ChatGPT with prompts like this, the results will be more usable, like out of the box usable.
Yeah. And again, in your niche of tech recruitment and how hard it is to find a German-speaking Java developer that can start tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
That's all you need to say.
This is what people want to hear.
Absolutely.
And I can always visit them. I can always go to the company and visit them on site, and then we can talk about all the things in the world. But if I want them to react, I have to create value for them. So this is what I'm trying to do with those messages.
For sure. I think there's obviously a lot of different niches and things that we have as well. So, it depends on your area. Somebody may be in another area and another niche of vertical might not be able to say, hey, I have a great accountant, German speaking, who can start tomorrow. Is that interesting? Maybe it's not enough of a pool and they need to approach it in the same way or in a different way. Someone said here as well, and another just feedback and comment, write a friendly / formal catchy native speaker. So that's one of the prompts that somebody says works well for them. I don't see here what is going with that. Okay. Good. Another person said to Judith that they asked them to tone it down, has worked quite well so far.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. As I say, I feel that adding your own text, getting the prompts for your text, that's going to be the best thing to get it the way that how you want it. Comment coming from Barend.
South Africa. Barend from South Africa.
Okay. He doesn't mind all the tools to assist us. He has the old school ways. Human interaction. This is why chat and AI will never replace us. People want to deal with people. So
I fully agree. Yeah, I'm totally on Baron's line there. It's in the end, this is why we do the job and not algorithms. This is why companies reach out to us. It's because of the personality. It's because of the trustworthiness. It's because of the network that you can provide them with. And ChatGPT doesn't provide any of these things. So totally online with Barend.
To go on that topic with Barend as well, the trend of everything being automated, the amount of emails that we receive from automated sequenced tools, the amount of messages coming through LinkedIn and other areas which have all been automated. Surely the old school picking up the phone, cold calling, having a conversation is actually still
it's the best.
The meta, still the best.
Phone is just unbeaten to this day, in my opinion. Phone is the best by far. I mean, you can always go fancy with tools, but if you're not good on the phone, in my opinion, prove me wrong. Anyone come here, prove me wrong. And this is what I say. I mean, the basics have to be in place. I really also enjoy and support the old school way of things. Learn to write, learn to listen, learn to read, learn to talk, and then you will be you will be the super master of ChatGPT. But
Yeah.
like using ChatGPT and expect it to turn you into a supermaster and the basics are not in place, it will never work out in a million years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think probably people are getting less and less calls, more and more messages. So actually, it's the right tactic. Have a question from Kelia, and actually, just to say, I think some
That's a
of the
good one.
questions are not coming in.
That's a good question here.
Kelia, yeah. So, candidates using ChatGPT to write CVs covers. They sound really good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge. What are your thoughts there, Lucas?
Yeah, so if they're just bluntly using the scripts that they are getting from ChatGPT, I claim that I see it.
Yeah.
I claim I just see it because I have seen it so many times, generating the scripts myself, seeing it coming from candidates and so on and so on. But yes, of course, if someone uses it intelligently and like uses ChatGPT, then puts it in kind of his own style and stuff, then of course it's hard. And yeah, I mean, this is like ein zweischneidiges Schwert. Maybe you can translate this to English for me.
A double-edged sword, we say.
It's a double-edged sword because sometimes it helps people who are brilliant for the job, but they are not so eloquent. So it's good for them because they get the chance to get into the interview and then they are the right fit for the role. But on the other hand, and that's probably the more common one, it's people who don't have anything to do with the role and then they get into the interview and then it's just it's just a waste of time for everyone, even for the candidate. So my advice would be, use it gently as a brainstorming partner, but don't let it like write your whole CV and cover letter. You're just fooling yourself. You're just kind of wasting your own time. It doesn't help you.
But I do see it. I mean, Sophia said she thinks the first call the candidate will tell you if it's was the candidate or chat. Absolutely. However, Kayla, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Kayla. What we're saying is with this usage that we're going to be engaging with more candidates who seem as a perception that we feel are a better fit. Have said all of the things that we needed to hear, but it's potentially going to create more work for recruiters and HR, meaning more screening, more time with individuals. Because not only we as recruiters and HR are using chat to help us improve, brainstorm, and do things, it's also helping candidates. And there's always going to be, as you say, a double-edged sword. There's going to be the positives and negatives there.
But I mean, that's absolutely fine if a candidate is like a real expert for role XYZ and he or she has trouble expressing that. Why not using the brainstorm sparring partner to express it in a better way so that the people who need each other find each other? So in this is what I mean with the double-edged sword. It can also be a good thing, right, for the candidate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For everyone, not only the candidate. No.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also, I've just put the question out there as well. There seems to be some syncing issues with some of the questions from the audience, but let us know what do you use ChatGPT the most. I'm talking to the audience, not just to Lucas. Let us know what you're using it for. Evgenia said, "What about a written test? We use written tests to assess candidates." I think it's a great thing to do if we're talking about trying to restrict then this problem. However, it depends where you're recruiting. We struggle so much finding the right talent in Switzerland often, and I feel if you put any extra hurdle in the way to a candidate or more work to a candidate before having that conversation, whether that is in the interview process or the application process, you want to make it as one click and simple as possible, because the harder you make it for somebody to apply, the more chance it is you're going to lose good candidates. So I feel like there's that element. Yes, we could send something to a candidate and say, hey, please do this test. But I feel like if we haven't had that human interaction with them first, it's a lot of a high expectation to ask before even having that first conversation with them. And a great, in Lucas's example, a great German-speaking Java developer is going to be inundated with a lot of opportunities. So if you ask more from them in an early stage before the rapport and relationships build up, you're putting hurdles and potentially losing out on candidates. I mean, what's your thoughts there, Lucas?
Yeah, I think the recruiting process just has to be agile. So if you see that it goes in this direction, like I'm getting too many feedback, like too many inbound that I cannot handle anymore, the quality is super bad, then of course you have to go into the other direction, and vice versa. It's like surfing. You have to go where the waves are, right? So I think there is no quick fix or like one fits them all solution. It's really, you have to see how your inbound is structured, and if you don't have any inbound at all, then yeah, maybe bring down some filters. Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be one of those things. AI and ChatGPT will create a lot of useful things, but it will also create more challenges, and then we need to work out
sure
how do we get
True.
around them.
Yeah. But in the end, you will always end up talking to a person face to face.
Yeah.
So again, I say it again, and then it's all, where is your ChatGPT then? Huh? Where is it? It will not help you anymore. Then it's about, do you have your basics in place?
Yeah. I think that, it's a good point there. So Milica, she's using it for sourcing, copywriting, market research. Is something we've not touched on yet. But that's also a huge thing to be able to gain market insights. Summaries of candidates and profile summaries. It's actually a really good point from that you have there. One way that you can also use ChatGPT, just to give you an example, is by taking your notes from the interview you've had with the candidate, taking their profile and asking Chat to summarize that or to put that into a summary that you can present to a hiring manager with the right prompts of saying, here's my notes from the interview, here's the person's CV, this is the job even that they're applying for. Create a short paragraph and summary that I can share with the hiring manager that highlights the key elements from my interview and conversation. Again, of course, that's something you can do, but we're using Chat to save us time, to give us ideas, to make it quicker, and to allow us to spend more time with candidates and clients and doing the things where the human element comes in. So yeah, thanks a lot for sharing that. It's definitely a key part.
This is what it's there for, right? To minimize the administration. I think this comment is brilliant. This is exactly what it's there for. Yeah,
absolutely. Some other from Sophia, I think privacy settings are like that, which is why it comes up saying LinkedIn user rather than her name. Mentioned she uses it for creating lists of potential companies who can reach out to the candidates. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, again, that comes in line with the market research, everything like that. It can help us putting things together. Obviously, it's only, I have the paid premium version. I think it's only till January 2022. So you always have to keep that in mind, that there's almost 2 years that you're missing out of in regards to data and information. Yeah, it's a great point. Thank you, Sophia, for that. Kelly has asked, do we write all of that in one message, or do you make different ones and different messages, one with the CV, one with the job description, one with the notes?
Okay.
I think it's about just giving the instructions. So I would probably tell it step by step. And I would say, first I'm going to share with you the person's LinkedIn profile, and then I'm going to share with you my notes from the interview. And each time you do it with the capital typing, as I understand the tool, input. So that each time it understands, okay, that's the input that you're giving me, and say, now put that all together. You probably can do it all in one, but it just might be a really long and messy and a bit hard to follow yourself, honestly speaking.
Yeah, I mean, maybe also for Kelly, it is called a conversational AI. So this is what you are about to do with this thing. You will have a conversation with it. So you
Mhm.
just as it would be like a person, a sparring partner, a brainstorming partner for you, you just start wherever you want to start, and then you will
Mhm.
go from there. It's like having a conversation with a person. So it will
Mhm.
be many different messages and not just one message. Yeah, you
Mhm.
will approach the problem, you will dive into stuff, the same as you would be in a dialogue with another person.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, great point. Thanks for that. And thanks, everyone. Merci. Merci, oi. Danke. So I'm just checking. There was a few comments, I think, also from Mike I missed before. Here's just to bring that in here when we're talking about creating questions which can be made for interview or creating interview questions. You know, I really like this where you can ask chat and say, hey, okay, here's my role, here's the candidate. Even you can take it as far as that. Give me 10 questions I can ask the candidate which are going to be relevant to the role, or just in general, as Mike puts it there in the comments.
Yeah,
So
reverse the role. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant
mhm,
piece of advice, I think. I
mhm,
also do it a lot, and I love the results. Great,
mhm.
great input. Yeah,
Yeah, thanks,
very
Mike, for
valuable.
that. Yeah, I think there's already a lot of things. I mean, creating Boolean strings, we've talked about saying, look, here's the job, here's my string. How can I make it better?
Yeah,
What am I missing? Um, I think there's also the element of, as we said, interview preparation. Here's the job that I have. What questions should I be asking future candidates? Um, Another one that I like as well, when you're new in recruitment, there's always that element of having a job and not fully understanding it. Use chat to explain to you. Give them the job description. You can be you can make it as simple as possible. You know, explain like you're talking to a teenager what it is
yeah,
that this person does. Why are these technologies important? Why is this important? You know, use it as a teacher to you to explain to you how to understand the jobs that you're recruiting for, because we don't always know every technology or every nuance of every job. And I kind of like this idea. Maybe it's just for me, to say, explain it like you're explaining it to a teenager. Bring it really down to the basics. I see you smiling there, Lucas. Did you have something you wanted to
yeah.
add in
Just
there?
like that teenager thing. I really, sometimes I say the grandma or a 8-year-old, and I think this
Yeah.
is cool. And yeah, just treat it as a person. Like there is a buddy in the room with you, and you just flip over that job description and think like, "Hey, buddy, what do you think about this job description?
Mhm.
Maybe what is your first thought on it?" And then ChatGPT will come up with something, and then you go like, "Oh, okay, this is interesting. I have more looked at it in this and that way." And then you start a conversation with the conversational AI. And I think this is the best way to use it for me, at least.
Mhm.
I got most of value out of it when I approach that way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's your friend. It's somebody who has a lot more information and knowledge than you. Use it like it's another colleague in the office where you say, "Hey, what would you do here?" or "How would you do that?"
Yeah.
Use the information that's there.
But in the end, ChatGPT will not join you for coffee break. So there is certain limits to it, of course.
Absolutely. Hey, I think that is an absolutely perfect moment, Lucas, for us to wrap up this session. We're almost at the hour mark. It's flown past. I want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who's joined us from all over the world, all of the viewers, the people who've shared their comments, shared alike, sat and watched, and hopefully take something from the session. It is a rabbit hole that you can go down, right, Lucas? It's
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. And
um,
it is a rabbit hole, and then you keep forgetting about the basics, which is a
yeah,
dangerous thing.
exactly. So the moral of the story: pick up the phone, speak to people, be
Pick up the
human.
phone.
Yeah,
Let's have a session about phone calls. I think we
Yeah,
should do that next. Yeah, let's have a session about phone calls, because
absolutely.
everyone is, also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the classic hypometer, right? Everything is
Mhm.
the new hype. Everyone goes crazy with hashtags, and what do I know?
Yeah,
Everyone keeps forgetting about this device here. Good old
yeah,
phone. Still
yeah.
the best device in the world if you want to do business.
Exactly. And
But
now more than ever, with everyone else
yeah,
going down the route thinking the emails and messages and AI is going to solve their problems, that
yeah,
means less people are calling today, probably, than almost in that sense than it's been for a long, long time.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Awesome. Hey, Lucas, thank you so much for joining us as always and co-hosting these sessions with me. You're a legend.
Thank you. Lee, thank you so much for these sessions. I always enjoy them. And we have many people listening here. What you and your team are doing for the LinkedIn community is outstanding and very, very valuable. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that a lot, especially coming from a legend like you. Hey,
Thank you,
thank
Lee.
you everybody for watching, and we will see you next time.